Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're all having amazing creative days. Today we're going to be diving into the world of photography and videography, and more specifically we're going to be looking at a tool that'll help enhance your photos and your videos. This is the Tiffen Enhancing Filter, and it's a pretty awesome filter, and if you want to find out how you can use it to make your photos and videos look way better, stick around. First things first, what exactly is a Tiffen Enhancing Filter? Well, in a nutshell, it's a specialized optical filter that's designed to boost the overall quality and appeal of your images and videos. It does this by selectively increasing the saturation and contrast of certain colors, primarily warm tones, to create a more vibrant, lively look. This can really make your visuals pop, especially when shooting images with a lot of warm tones like autumn landscapes. The Tiffen Enhancing Filter achieves its magic through various optical techniques. Primarily, it has coatings on it which enhance warm tones while largely ignoring cool tones. So reds, oranges, yellows, and even greens to a certain extent will be enhanced visually, while colors like blue, purple, pink will sort of be ignored. So if you're shooting portraits of people, for example, skin tones will be enhanced. If you're shooting, let's say, autumn leaf or autumn landscapes, the colors in the autumn leaves will be enhanced and they'll pop. If you're shooting food photography, it'll make everything look warmer and change the mood of your photo to make it look more appetizing. But on the other hand, if you're shooting, let's say, oceanscape, and you have blue sky, blue water, it's not really gonna change much. You're shooting a night scene, unless there's warm tones in the shot, it's not gonna change much. Or you're shooting, let's say, a winter scene, it's not gonna change too much. So depending on what you shoot, and how what your subject matter is, the Tiffen Enhancing Filter can really enhance your photos. So now let's take a look at some photos as we go through some more facts about the Tiffen Enhancing Filter. All right, so now I've added a Tiffen filter to my standard video rig setup. So usually when I shoot videos for YouTube, I have a Tiffen Pro Mist 1/4 filter, and I have a Nisi True Color VND filter. So those are still on the camera. Now I've added the Tiffen Enhancing Filter to this. Now the previous scene was shot without the enhancing filter. This has the enhancing filter. So you can see my skin tones are a little redder now. They probably look a little healthier. But I mean, just like anything in photography or videography, any kind of filter, it's all a matter of personal taste. Like the halation caused by the Tiffen Pro Mist filter creates a glow around the window, so you can see my fingers are kind of disappearing in the glow. Now, whether you like that effect or don't, that's up to you. That's personal taste. Same with the enhancing filter. It's all up to personal taste. So now I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. So hopefully I'm beside myself on one of the sides, and you can see what I look like in the previous scene versus what I look like in this scene. And these are both color graded exactly the same, plus the Tiffen Enhancing Filter. And here's a shot without a color grade. So this is what it looks like right out of the camera. And you can see the colors aren't as pleasing. Well, at least I don't think they are. So I use my color grade, and this is what the color grade looks like. So with that being said, let's jump into benefits of using an enhancing filter. There are 6 benefits listed on paper, and we're just going to talk about all 6 benefits. All right, let's jump into it. All right, so let's take a look at some before and after shots as we talk about the benefits of using an enhancing filter. So here we go. First benefit is color enhancement. So as we talked about earlier, this filter will enhance the colors, the warm tones, while largely ignoring the cool tones. Although I did find that it does kind of affect the cool tones a little bit. I shot these shots at, it was afternoon. It's fall now, so the sun is setting earlier. So it's about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, around 4 o'clock-ish, and the sun was setting, so the sun was casting this warm tone over the sky. And as you can see here, the sky shots, they're a little bit warmer with the enhancing filter. They're not true blue, while the water, which isn't really affected by the sunset, is still blue and remains blue, even though the sky warmed up a little bit. And then here's some foliage shots. You can see before and after. Even like the color of the grass has changed from like this neon-y kind of green into a more deeper green, which is kind of cool. So the enhancing filter will affect greens as well as red, orange, and yellow. All right, and I just want to say all the photos you're seeing in this video are all in the blog post linked down below in the description. So if you want to take a look at these photos at your own pace, at your own time, you can check out the blog post down below. Now, let's talk about a little pro tip. One thing you got to keep in mind with this is it will cut the amount of light coming into your camera by a stop or a stop and a half or something like that. So if I put it on here, you can see how everything becomes darker. So I'm going to turn the V and D to lighten it. So if I take it off now, you can see I'm overexposed, properly exposed. Now if I properly expose myself, too dark. So when you're switching between using an enhancing filter and no filter, you're going to have to adjust your aperture, your shutter speed, whatever the case may be, because this thing will cut the amount of light coming into your camera. But the benefits are you get that Tiffen Enhancing Filter look, if that's what you're looking for. All right, and the second benefit is increased contrast. Now, in my experience with this filter, I wouldn't say that it increases contrast a lot. I would sort of put it at the same level as using a polarizer filter. So if you use a polarizer filter, the darks get a little darker while the lights stay slightly dimmer, right? So the polarizer filter will cut the amount of light coming into the camera. And the same thing with the enhancing filter. I find that it makes the light slightly darker and the darks a little bit darker than the, so it just adds a little punch, a little contrast, but I think that's more because it just cuts the amount of light coming into the camera, not necessarily contrast, pure contrast. And also I would make the argument that this isn't a really huge benefit because it's so easy to make things more punchier and add more contrast in post. So yeah, you can take that for what it's worth. All right, so the third benefit to using the Tiffen Enhancing Filter is it reduces haze, or at least supposedly reduces haze. So apparently if there's a fog in the air, a mountain mist, morning dew, a little bit of haze in the air, the Tiffen Enhancing Filter will cut that haze and make your image more contrasty. Now, this is one of the benefits that's listed as one of the benefits of the filter, but in my 19 years as a photographer, I have never actually seen or used a Tiffen Enhancing Filter in such a way that it reduces fog or atmospheric haze or anything like that. So take this one with a grain of salt. It's listed officially as one of the benefits, but I personally have not witnessed that. So yeah, let's move on to the next thing. All right, fourth benefit of using an enhancing filter is it improves skin tones, and this is a benefit you can definitely see. For portraits, this filter can do wonders for skin tones, making them look warmer and more flattering. And here's a before and after shot. Now, these were shot in studio with sunlight coming in through the window, camera set to auto white balance, picture style is set to portrait, and this is just right out of camera, no editing. So you can see here how the Tiffen Enhancing Filter really creates a warmish kind of feel to the portraits. Now, personally, I don't like warm tones. I prefer cool tones in my images. That's sort of my style. That's my vibe. That's how I do things. In my YouTube videos, everything's a little cooler than warmer. That's my personal taste, but I have this piece of kit in my bag for those times I'm taking, let's say, family portraits or food photography shots or whatever. If I'm shooting in a situation where I want to make things look warmer, then I'll put on the enhancing filter. All right, the fifth benefit to using an enhancing filter applies to those of us who love shooting with vintage glass. So this is a Canon NFD lens. Now, these old Canon NFD lenses are known for producing cool tones. The glass in the image somehow changes the characteristics of the tones and makes everything cooler, more bluish. So when you add an enhancing filter to vintage glass, it kind of brings those colors back to normal. So if you're tired of those cool tones produced by, not all vintage lenses produce cool tones. The Canon FDs specifically do, and then there's some other lenses that do as well, and some produce purple tones and some muted tones, and it's all over the place, which is why I love vintage lenses. They're fun. Each one is like its own unique bottle of wine. You don't know what you're gonna get. It's kind of cool. Anyway, we're not talking about vintage lenses in this video, but I do have a lot of content on vintage lenses. If that's something you're interested, definitely subscribe to the channel. And the last benefit of using enhancing filters, and this is, I admit, is kind of a reach, is the fact that you can get them in different sizes. So here's a little 49mm filter that I like using on my X100V, and here is a 77mm filter that I put on my bigger lenses. Now, I don't know if you saw that though. Here is the 77mm, and then here is the 49mm. So I don't know what's going on with Tiffen, if there's some sort of quality control issues, but clearly the 77mm filter has a more warmish orangish tone, while the 49mm filter has a pinkish tone. So I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what's going on. They're both Tiffen Enhancing Filters. They're exactly the same, or at least they should be, but they're producing a different kind of color. So I don't know what to say about that. So hopefully if you're going out and buying one, I would recommend looking for a warmish orangier kind of toned one. I think that one definitely looks better than the pinkish All right, before we move on to the next section, here's a pro tip for you. If you have multiple lenses, I would recommend getting the largest filter you can possibly get that fits on your biggest lens, provided that's a lens you use often, and then use step-up rings to fit lenses with smaller thread mounts to the bigger filter. That way you only have to buy one filter instead of multiple filters all over the place. This little 49mm filter, I wouldn't have bought this, but I got this like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago as part of those like starter filter kits with a polarizer, enhancer, and neutral density and all that stuff. So that's why I have this. Otherwise I wouldn't buy it. But it's interesting though that they are different tones. All right, anyway, next. So the question I know somebody's gonna ask in the comments is, what's the point of buying a Tiffen Enhancing Filter when I can just change the Kalvin temperature in the camera? And these are two separate things completely. So when you use the enhancing filter, the warm tones get enhanced in your photo or video, and cool tones, for the most part, get left alone. You can see the greens are kind of different, you notice that. But if you change the Kalvin temperature to warm up your image, you warm everything up across the board, which means that your red, orange, yellow, green get warmed up, but also your blues, your purples, your pinks also get warmed up as well. So that's the difference between using an enhancing filter versus just increasing or changing the Kalvin temperature. All right, now, conclusion time. In conclusion, a Tiffen Enhancing Filter is a fantastic tool for enhancing the visual appeal of your images and videos. Whether you're a professional photographer or videographer or just starting out, these filters can really help you achieve a striking cinematic look that'll help you grab the attention of your audience. So if you're looking to take your photography or videography to the next level, I highly recommend giving a Tiffen Enhancing Filter a try. Pro tip, use it in different situations. Experiment with it in like different Kalvin temperatures, studio, indoor, outdoor, different times of day and that kind of thing, so that when you finally get the opportunity to use it, you'll understand how this filter behaves in different situations. There you go. Now you know. All right, now you can all consider yourselves knowledgeable on Tiffen Enhancing Filters. And if you want to pick up one of these filters, affiliate links down below in the description. It doesn't cost you anything more, but it gives a couple cents to the channel, which is totally appreciated. And again, if you like this kind of content, definitely subscribe to the channel. We're going to be reviewing more Tiffen or more filters, more lenses, more vintage lenses, more gear, all that kind of fun stuff. And I want to mix in some more photography tutorials into the channel too, to teach you guys, girls, photographers, videographers, creators, about how to create things and use your gear to its maximum potential. So if that's what you're into, definitely subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, this video is over. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Peace out, and I will see you guys in the next video.